Hey friends, Ash here with Gents, coming at you guys with a fragrance review today for this one, Azzaro Pour Homme Wild Mint. And this is one of those videos where I'm just kind of winging it. So bear with me. We're gonna take a look at the presentation here. I'm gonna go over this fragrance, break it down for you, let you know what I think about it, let you know whether I think this one is worth checking out or not. And it's gonna have to be pretty bad not to be worth it, because you can pick this up at discounters for about 26, 27 bucks. It's not very expensive. I reviewed Ginger Lover not that long ago, which is also in this line of fragrances. That one, a really nice alternative to some of the blue fragrances out there. Versatile, people-pleasing, compliment pulling, you know the drill. Wild Mint, not surprisingly, centers around the note of spearmint. And a lot of people out there love mint in fragrances. So without further ado, let's jump into this one and break down Azzaro Wild Mint. First off, let's check out this presentation. You see here the name of the house, name of the fragrance, concentration right there. Got the Azzaro logo on the top, little info on the side, nothing doing on the other side. And on the back, a luxurious shot of the Wild Mint bottle. It looks good. And then on the bottom, you've got your batch code. And here's the bottle for Wild Mint. It's got a nice gradient where it goes from black down to green here at the bottom. The cap, just a plastic cap that does click into place. There's nothing on the top, nothing on the back. And then on the bottom, gotta hide from the camera so it doesn't focus on me, is where you'll find your batch code. And I'll go ahead and waste a spray for you guys so you can see how the atomizer works. Not too bad. A lot of you noticed, I'm sure, and I brought this up in the last video with Ginger Lover, but this is the standard Azzaro Pour Homme bottle, just with a nice gradient. And this one smells really nice off a tester strip, but unfortunately, you can't always trust a tester strip. Oftentimes with tester strips, they will hold on to the top notes in a fragrance for a long time. So those fresher notes, those more attention-grabbing notes, a lot of times on a tester strip, they just sit there and they get stuck in the tester strip almost, and you just constantly pick it up from there. And so you'll come back 2, 3, 4 hours after spraying it on and be like, wow, that mint is still so fresh. But then on your skin, could be a different story. So Wild Mint, when you first spray this one on, it has a bunch of spearmint, a whole bunch. Spearmint is officially a mid note or a heart note in this fragrance, but you pick it up right away, immediately. There's also a lot of calypsone in here, which gives off an ozonic melon note. That's how it's described. That and the spearmint in the top are just really powerful. And the spearmint comes off to me a little bit mentholated. Some people might say it smells a little bit like toothpaste, but it still smells good. It's not like you spray it on and go, oh, disgusting toothpaste. It's just that thought may cross your mind, that mintiness may give you the impression of toothpaste. Really fresh, refreshing, uber attention grabbing in the opening, just smells fantastic. Well, if you like mint. If you don't like mint, then probably wouldn't smell fantastic at all. And the calypsone in here is actually really obvious. It really makes itself known. The first time I wore this around my wife, she actually asked me if I had sprayed it on over top maybe like some sweat on my arm, like maybe I had been working out or something. And that was that calypsone, the way it came off to her. She interpreted it as possibly a slight tinge of sweat, maybe light body odor underneath the mint. Now in further wearings, future wearings, she didn't have that reaction, she didn't pick that up, but the very first time she did. And I get what she's talking about. It doesn't come across that way to me, but it's just that very ozonic, almost overload with the spearmint in the opening can maybe throw some people for a loop. There's also bergamot in the top, but I don't get a ton of bergamot. Like a little bit of fresh green bergamot, sure, but not a whole heck of a lot. It's more spearmint and calypsone than anything else. They just really swallow the bergamot up. So for me, I don't get very much of that juicy citrus. Now the mentholated facet from the spearmint dies away pretty quickly. I picked that up in the initial opening, but as it starts to head into the mid, that dies away. The spearmint is still there, but that mentholated kind of vibe is not. So that potential toothpastey kind of vibe, that dies off really quickly. And again, to me, it doesn't really come off that way, but it potentially could for you. And when I say that, I'm talking about the toothpaste. Now into the mid, this actually has pine balsam and fir balsam. So you would think that it would get this really piney, woody kind of thing going on in the mid, but it doesn't all that much. At least not for me, not piney. A little bit woody and spearminty, but not piney. Not dark, not rich, just kind of a soft, semi-fresh woodiness. And it stays that way for me into the dry down. Now in the dry down, there's patchouli and vetiver. Once I hit the dry down, I don't really pick up that mint anymore. It's just kind of gone away. And there's patchouli and vetiver, and they come off very lightly off my skin. So once I hit the dry down, this one is not a projection monster. It's actually a skin scent. So patchouli, vetiver, both of them clean, no earthiness, no dirtiness, not even a little tiny sprinkling of earthiness in here. Just soft, clean vetiver and patchouli. Safe, approachable, not loud at all. Performance-wise, I've seen a few different things online. Some people have said this one is a real monster, that it lasts for a long time, projects heavily. But for me, it's middling, kind of average. It projects solidly for the first hour or so. Once you hit the far dry down, once the mint kind of dissipates, it becomes a soft fragrance for me. And longevity wise, about 6 hours, so in that average range. In the initial opening, it projects heavily. So when that mint is really popping with the calypso, it projects heavily. It's just once that, again, sort of semi-mentholated vibe starts to die down a little bit, so does the projection. Starts to sit in a little bit closer. One thing with this fragrance is it's still projecting through the mid, but you may not pick up on it as much. This is a fragrance that I actually go a little bit anosmic to. So it's one of those scents that if I keep smelling it, then I stop picking it up. And then I'll be like, oh, it's not there. It's not there, it's weak. It's gone in 2 hours. But that's not the case, it's just you can't smell it anymore. You've gone nose blind. This is not gonna make sense at first, so you're gonna have to bear with me, but it's almost like poison ivy. Like poison ivy, they'll say, oh, don't scratch it, you're gonna make it worse. And then you keep scratching it and it does make it worse. The fragrance is like that, where you smell it and you go, oh, that smelled good. I'll smell it again. And then you go in and smell it again and you're like, wait, I couldn't pick it up as much. Is it still projecting? I don't know, I'll check again. Then you smell again and you go, oh my God, it's even weaker. It really must be gone. I'll check again. I can smell it even less now. So it's like you keep doing it over and over, and each time you smell it, you can smell it less and less and less, and then you end up going nose blind and you think it's not there when it actually is. So the first couple times I wore this, I thought it was quite weak once the opening kind of settled down, but then in follow-up wearings, I was like, oh, I was just going nose blind to it. Still yet, even with that long explanation and example, it's average for me, performance-wise. Not great, not bad. For me, Wild Mint, gonna be more of a spring, summertime fragrance, more of a daytime fragrance as well. It is office safe, so whenever we can go back to working in offices, you could wear this. Outside of that, more casual fragrance, and like I said, it doesn't really scream out to me as a nighttime sort of scent. And I also don't really think it's best suited for fall and winter. I don't think that it has quite the oomph that I'd be looking for to cut through the cold. But like always, if you love this fragrance, wear it whenever you want, whenever it makes you happy. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, it runs for about $26, $27 as of this video at discounters. At that price, Wild Mint is a solid pickup. If you love mint and fragrances, I don't think you'll be disappointed at all. I actually love the way this one smells in the opening, and I think the mid is very solid as well. The far dry down for me, a little bit boring because it is ultimately just soft patchouli, a soft vetiver, and there's not really too much of that mint that makes it into the dry down. But still, under 30 bucks for a full 100 ml bottle that has at least average performance, sign me up. Quality actually smells quite nice. This isn't one of the fragrances that I smell and I go, oh God, this is disgusting. It's actually pretty good. Although there is that kind of overload on the calypso in the opening of the fragrance that could turn some people off. For me personally, I like it. It's another very solid release from Azzaro, and the two fragrances I don't have in this line, Hot Pepper and Naughty Leather, I do plan on picking up in the near future. Because the 3 that I did get, Wild Mint, Ginger Lover, and Amber Fever, all 3 solid cheapies. And I actually really love what Azzaro's doing with these fragrances. They're not overly complicated. They don't have a ton going on necessarily. They don't have a whole bunch of nuances. They're not trying to do too much. They're just saying, well, here's a note. Let's make a fragrance that's pretty nice, that centers around that note. Yeah, no, mind-blowing, crazy. But so far with the 3 I have, it works. So yeah, if you like mint, check this one out. Don't think you'll be disappointed. It's under 30 bucks, full presentation. Goodbye. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for me for this one. Obviously for me, thumbs up. If you've smelled this fragrance or any of the others in the line, let me know what you think about them in the comments below. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, and stay safe out there. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.